وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يسألونك ماذا أحل لهم قل أحل لكم الطيبات وما علمتم من الجوارح مكلبين تعلمونهن مما علمكم الله فكلوا مما أمسكن عليكم واذكروا اسم الله عليه واتقوا الله إن الله سريع الحساب اليوم أحل لكم الطيبات وطعام الذين أوتوا الكتاب حل لكم وطعامكم حل لهم والمحصنات من المؤمنات والمحصنات من الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم إذا آتيتموهن أجورهن محصنين غير مسافحين ولا متخذي أخدان ومن يكفر بالإيمان فقد حبط عمله وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. In the first three ayat of Surah Al-Ma'idah, for the most part, the teachings about halal and haram are going on, and this is in continuation. After those animals that are not halal, the conditions that make animals haram were given. Some Sahaba had a question in their mind that when we use any other animal for hunting an animal, for example dogs or eagles, when they are used, is an animal hunted through them halal or not? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered this, يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا أُحِلَّ لَهُم, they ask you as to what has been made halal for them, lawful for them. قُلْ أُحِلَّ لَكُمُ الطَّيِّبَاتِ, say made lawful for you are the good things, tayyibat. So the concept of tayyibat is things that are good for a human body in spiritual and physical manner. So the Sharia of the Prophet ﷺ made all those things that are the best for consumption of a human being, for their spirit and for their body. The Prophet ﷺ made them halal. So, and this is because the Prophet ﷺ and all Anbiya are guarded, even their thoughts are guarded by angels, and shaitan and all the jinn, the evil ones, are kept away from them. So they are ma'soom, they are free of sins, and the sharia that they give, that is driven from the word of Allah and the thought of the Prophet of that time. So the thought of the Prophet, which is in fact the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the command that a Prophet gives, that is according to nature. So what the Prophet has made halal is tayyib, is good for consumption. And when the Prophet has declared something to be haram, then that definitely is, as opposed to tayyib, khabith or impure or harmful in terms of spirituality and physical body. So whatever has been made halal is tayyib. There has been a discussion going on lately for the past 5 or 10 years that everything that we think tayyib is halal, should be halal. So it is the other way around. What the Prophet has made halal is tayyib. Understood? So when the Prophet has said something is halal, that means it is tayyib. When the Prophet has made something haram, that means it is khabith, no matter if we consider it pure or if it appears pure and tidy to us. وَمَا عَلَّمْتُم مِّنَ الْجَوَارِحِ مُكَلِّبِينَ تُعَلِّمُونَهُنَّ مِمَّا عَلَّمَكُمُ اللَّهُ فَكُلُوا مِمَّا أَمْسَكْنَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَاذْكُرُوا اسْمَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ. Now the answer to the question that hunting through birds and beasts. So basically birds, eagle was used, and beasts, dogs were used in that time too for hunting, and they are used in this time too. It is halal for them if you use them to hunt, depending on if the conditions are fulfilled. First condition is that you train, teaching them out of what Allah has taught you. So what is teaching an animal? Teaching an animal, training them to hunt, is to make them obey their master. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it so beautifully that you teach them what Allah has taught you. So Allah has taught you to obey the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you teach them to obey your command. And what is the sign that they have been trained? This is a condition that a trained animal, so the hunt of a trained animal is halal. What will be a trained animal? A trained animal will be when the commander or the master asks them to hunt, they go for hunting. When so the jibillat, you understand jibillat, the nature of these animals is that they run after their prey. They want to tear apart their prey, right? But they will be declared trained when they are obeying the command of their master in coming away, coming off the prey, when the master asks them to come off the prey. So their jibillat, their nature is that they want to run after and tear apart their prey, but they will be called trained when a dog will be called trained when after hunting it does not start eating from that animal. It brings that hunt back to its owner, back to its master. Similarly, an eagle or whatever bird is used, it will be declared trained when, as it is running or flying after a prey, in that moment the owner or the master calls it back, it leaves that prey and comes back to its master. This is what a trained animal will be. This is the declaration. This is how a trained animal will be defined. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you teach them to allimunahunna mimma allamakumullah. What Allah has trained you, you train them out of that. So fakulu mimma amsakna alaykum. If they are trained, then you can eat what they hold for you. So the conditions are, number 1, you send that animal to prey. Number 2, when you call it back, it comes back. For a dog, it does not start eating from that prey, but brings that prey back to you. Number 3, you send it. It has not gone after that animal out of its own will. You have commanded it, then it goes after it. Okay? So, if these conditions are fulfilled, and also when you send your beast or send your hunting animal after that other animal, you take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you do that, when these 4 conditions are fulfilled, then the prey is halal. Whatever they catch for you is halal. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ فَكُلُوا مِمَّا أَمْسَكْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ وَاذْكُرُوا اسْمَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ. Take the name of Allah, recite the name of Allah upon it. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ, fear Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ, surely Allah is swift at reckoning. الْيَوْمَ أُحِلَّ لَكُمُ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. This day is the same day, the day where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said your deen has been completed. We talked about that day, Yawm al-Arafah of the Hajjatul Wida'. Al-yawma uhilla lakum at-tayyibat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing again discussion that this day we have made all tayyibat halal for you. So everything that was tayyib has been made halal for you. Wa ta'amul ladina, so tayyibat have been made halal for you. And now there is no chance of them becoming haram. So till eternity, with the completion of deen, the deen that has been completed on you today, that same deen has made tayyibat halal for you. Those things that have been made halal are tayyibat. Tayyibat have been made halal. Now, till eternity, till the last day, these tayyibat will not become haram upon you. So there is no chance of this being cancelled or changed. وَطَعَامُ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ حِلٌّ لَكُمْ وَطَعَامُكُمْ حِلٌّ لَهُمْ. The food, which refers to, of course, animals hunted or slaughtered by the Ahlul Kitab. الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ حِلٌّ لَكُمْ, that is halal for you. وَطَعَامُكُمْ حِلٌّ لَهُمْ, and your ta'am, just like your ta'am, your eating, your food is halal for them. The reason why this command is given is that, number 1, the Quran says Utul Kitab, the people who are of the book, the believers in the book. So that is Nasara and the Jews, the Christians and the Jews. So if they slaughter an animal fulfilling the conditions of slaughtering. Now, why is this command in Islam that although they do not believe rightfully in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the way it is. So the one particular thing about the Ahlul Kitab is that they have some belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although they have added shirk to it and therefore they are kafireen and they will go to hellfire, but they have some belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Compared to those who are not people of the book, like Hindus or like the people who worship any other thing except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fire or whatever. The other thing is that in the religion of Nasara and Jews, the commands, the conditions of something being halal are the exact same as Islam. So there's two things, and this ayah talks about those two things: the conditions of marriage and the conditions of halal and haram. What makes an animal halal? What? कितना टाइम हुआ अभी? Okay, this is a detailed discussion. We'll do it next time. But briefly, if Nasara and Jews slaughter an animal fulfilling the conditions of slaughter that are the same in Islam and Judaism and Christianity, which we talked about, that slaughtering has to be at the neck, animal has to lose its life because of that injury, at least 3 out of 4 vessels have to be cut, and the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to be taken. In their religion as well, and it is in the books of tafsir, it is quoted from Bible and from Torah that it specifically says that they are also required to take the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not their Nabi, not the people who they made their gods. So those conditions are the same. If they are following those conditions and they are a true kitabi, which means that they claim to follow Bible or the Torah, then these people today, they are atheists basically. With almost every other act of theirs, they make fun of their Nabi or they make fun of their book. So these people will not be kitabi. Kitabi are those people who are true Christians, who claim to be Christians, who claim to follow the Bible, although they have marred it. They claim to follow Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, although they have changed his teachings. These people will be called kitabi. And their slaughtering, if in accordance to their Sharia and the Sharia of Islam, then it will become halal. Of course, that kind of meat is not available here in the United States, nor in the Europe or other non-Muslim countries these days, because these people do not fulfill those conditions that are in their own books. So their slaughtering does not become halal for us. So the safest way is that we go to a place where Muslims slaughter these animals, and we also make sure that they follow all the conditions of slaughtering. If they don't do it, then no certificate of halal can make anything halal for us. No stamping of halal can make anything halal for us. If a stamping authority or a certification authority is selling their certificate and not making sure that the conditions of zabiha, which I just mentioned, the 4 conditions are fulfilled, then the stamp does not matter. The stamp does not mean anything. Therefore, this is the reason why we only trust very few certification authorities, where we know that they definitely, for sure, do surprise checks at the slaughterhouses. They actually have the knowledge of what is slaughtering, and they do surprise checks. If those conditions are met, then those places we trust. Inshallah, we'll do the detailed discussion next time. Next week, we'll do this ayah again. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.